What's up everybody, Subaru WRX fan here for another car review. This is of course the 2013 Subaru WRX. Many thanks to Harrison Auto Sales for hooking me up with this car to review for you guys today. So, I've reviewed every generation of the STI that we have here in America. So now it's time to do the WRX. And the WRX is basically the same thing as the STI, just a little bit less performance in every area, but I mean it's a way cheaper price. This starts off at $26,000 versus the $35,000 for the STI. So I mean, as far as the looks go on the outside, you still get all the same great looks that you get in the STI. You have the awesome huge hood scoop that I love on these cars. Very nice front end with the eyelids over the headlights here, the black wings in the grille, and the awesome air ducts here in the front bumpers. As far as the back end goes in this car, you have a short little deck lid, you have the nice rear bumper still, and these cars also still have these huge wide fenders that the STI has. That was one of the great upgrades they did for the WRX here in 2011, and it really looked nice. This 2013 model is the same thing. You have the nice little metal WRX fender garnishes, and this one, it just looks really nice, especially in World Rally Blue, the best WRX color you can get, I think. And yeah, it's just a great looking car from every angle. Right, so for the interior of this car, the first thing you notice is the doors feel kind of flimsy. The door handle and everything kind of has a cheap sound to it whenever you open it. But once you're in here, it's nice actually. Now, I reviewed a 2012 STI, which has almost exactly the same interior. A few minor trim pieces that are different, leather seats in that car versus cloth in these, but aside from that, they're identical. And if you watch that review, you'd know that I really complained about the quality of the interior on that car. And that's because that car was almost $40,000. This same interior in a car that's $26,000 all of a sudden is really pretty nice. And so that's kind of the thing, is within the context of the price, this is a nice interior. No, it's not as nice as the new Honda Civic Si that I reviewed. Honda's really impressed me with their interiors. This isn't quite as nice, but for $26,000, it's not bad. You have a nice little leather arm pad here. And all the plastics are nicely painted, which is cool. They are hard, but I mean, again, you don't buy a WRX for the quality of the interior plastics. I mean, everything is nice and attractive looking. You have the very nice gauges with the red backlighting, which is very cool, and STIQ for sure. And the steering wheel in this car is nice too. It has a very, very nice 9-3 grip and has the nice red stitching on the inside of the rim. The radio in this car is the same as the one that was in the STI. I don't like how small the volume and tune knobs are, and you know, the buttons feel a little bit cheap to me, and it's kind of an underpowered system, but again, that's easy to change. If you don't like the stereo in this car, it's very easy to swap out. All the temperature controls here, the knobs, they feel okay. They're not the highest quality, but they're not the worst I've seen in recent memory either, so they're just okay. The seats in this car are a little bit on the wide side. They don't hug you as nice as I would like them to, but they're not the worst seats either. They do have a very nice fabric, and it's perforated. It breathes very nicely, and it has a nice WRX stitching there on the back, and I like how the headrest is integrated. As far as storage capacity goes in this car, it's actually very nice. You have your door pockets here with a bottle holder. You have a cubby here underneath the climate controls, which is nice and deep. You have a little change holder here right before the cup holders. You have the cup holders, and then you have a center console here, which is a decent depth, and it contains your USB and auxiliary jacks as well as a power outlet too. Backseat space is pretty nice in this car. I mean, plenty of headroom, the seats are comfortable, and there's a good amount of legroom there that most people can fit back there quite comfortably. Trunk space in this car is a little on the small side, but it's not bad. I mean, you can fit more than enough stuff in there. Obviously, if you want to go for the more versatile WRX, there's a 5-door option, which has the hatchback, and so you can always go for that if you like throwing your bikes in the back and things like that. All right, so let's take it for a drive and see how it does. Now, you might be able to hear already, this car has an SPT exhaust system, which is the one that is dealer installed, which is nice because it means it's under warranty, doesn't mess with any of your warranty stuff or anything like that, and it has a great sound to it. The only other modification this car has is that it has the Race Comp Engineering anti-sway bars. Alright, so setting off in the 2013 Subaru WRX, and I'm on this bumpy park road here, so give you a little idea of how the suspension is in this car. It's on the firm side, but it's not bad. I mean, you feel the bumps, but it soaks them up nicely. It's not jarring, and it's very compliant for the most part. I mean, obviously this isn't a luxury car. It doesn't feel like a luxury car, but it does feel very nice and well controlled. Another thing you'll observe as soon as you start driving this car is the visibility is excellent. You have a very large windshield, and obviously this being a four-door, you have no blind spots. You can see everything around you very clearly, and with no rear spoiler, there's no interference in the back window there, so you can see everything out of the back just fine. One of the other things you notice in this car whenever you first start driving it is the clutch is a very nice weight, not too heavy, not too light, just right. The shifter also has a very nice feeling to it. The seating position in this car does feel a little higher up. I mean, obviously, you know, this isn't a sports car. This is an Impreza chassis, so it's going to feel like a normal sedan. So it doesn't have a very racy seating position or anything like that, but I mean, it gives you an excellent view of the road because you're sitting up a little higher, and the hood sits nice and low, so you just have a very good view forward. All right, so let's turn onto this back right here and see how it does. It might not be the STI, but it's really quick. And to be perfectly honest, with this 5-speed manual in this car versus the 6-speed in the STI, the way this is geared, I feel like it almost feels like it pulls a little bit harder. It feels a little bit lighter on its feet. I mean, I just drove the 2012 STI a couple weeks ago, so this is recent memory. And this just, it felt more exciting going up to redline, and it felt lighter whenever you were accelerating. It didn't feel like it had as much mass to drag along like the STI did. I mean, this is just all must be in my head because there's very little weight difference between the STI and the WRX, but this just feels lighter on its feet to me. All right, so coming up to some corners here, see how these anti-sway bars do. It feels so sharp. The steering is on the light side. I wish it had a little bit more weight to it, but the feel is actually really good. So coming up to this tight corner I always take, average speed, and let's see how it does. Yeah, see these anti-sway bars, they keep it so flat and planted, it feels really confidence inspiring. I mean, it just could, no roll really, it was just totally flat, really impressive, especially for a sedan. All right, so let's see about that power again. Yeah, so you get some turbo lag, but once it comes on, I mean, it starts coming on pretty strong. Once you get, you know, 4 or 5, 6 grand, it really comes on. It's full blast, and boom, it just smacks you in the face. I love how much power these cars have. I mean, 265 horsepower, though, you would think that wouldn't feel that fast, but these always feel faster to me than the actual numbers may suggest. And it's just so much fun. I love these things. I mean, I'm a Subaru WRX fan, so, I mean, you should have predicted this, but I mean, you know, the real bottom line here so far is that at $26,000, this interior is totally acceptable. The performance is absolutely phenomenal, and within that context, it's amazing. Whenever you get up to the STI with its $40,000 price tag and leather seats, this all feels a lot less impressive, but at 26,000 bucks, this feels really, really amazing. I mean, it's a ton of fun at any price, but it's just a very compelling package to have all-wheel drive, 4 doors, turbocharged 4-cylinder, all for 26 grand. It is a phenomenal bargain. Always has been, always will be. So yeah, I'm gonna drive this car all afternoon here and really get a good feel for what it's like over the long term, and I'll come back and give you my updated impressions. This car all afternoon, and I gotta tell you what, it just gets better and better. I really do love these cars, and especially this one with the exhaust and with the anti-sway bars. Those are the two things that I did to my Legacy, and those are the two things I would do to this car. Just put those on and then you're good to go. It's tons of fun. It's just, the ride is smooth, you know, it's a little bit rough on really bumpy roads, but on normal roads it's really smooth. It's a good bit smoother than the 2006 actually, and this car just reminds me so much of my 2006 Legacy GT Spec B that I had. Very similar size, very similar power delivery, everything about it reminds reminds me of that car a lot. And this just, it feels so light, so sharp on its feet. This is about 3,200 pounds, which is pretty light for a four-door car like this. And so it just really feels secure, and it hugs the road, and I just love the way that it handles. It's very weightless in the way that it feels. And I mean, with the all-wheel drive, it just grips and grips and grips, and then you have the sway bars that just keep it totally flat in these corners, and then you have that awesome exhaust note as well to just give you such a wonderful song while you're cutting up these roads. It's just tons and tons of fun. You got that turbo boost that comes in, and it's a great experience. So to sum up my experience in the WRX, I'm a Subaru WRX fan. I always loved these cars, and the real question for me was if I would like this better than the 2006 WRX. And I think I do, just because as I'm getting older, I want something that's a little bit more comfortable. I don't want to be really beat up all the time. And this is a good bit more comfortable than the 2006. But unlike the 2012 STI that I reviewed, this car doesn't seem to be giving up any of the experience. That STI just for some reason felt a little bit heavier, didn't feel quite as light on its feet. I don't know why, but it didn't. This car is still razor sharp in its handling, especially with these anti-sway bars, but this car also feels light, and it's just very tossable, very fun to just throw in a corner like I'm doing now and just come out on the other end, no problem. The all-wheel drive system takes care of you. You just keep your foot planted, and it figures it all out. It's great. So I think you really don't sacrifice much, you know? I mean, yes, the 2006 might have a slightly more puristic and raw feel to it, but you still have the whole experience in this car. You still have amazing modern looks. You have the modern safety of a 2013 car and all those great things. So, I mean, all that combined, if I were to get a WRX, I would probably just go for one of these new ones because they are great. They're great fun. You know, if I were to go with a front-wheel drive car, I'd probably pick the Honda Civic Si that I reviewed a few weeks ago. But if you want something that's all-wheel drive, turbocharged, goes anywhere, it's fast, this is for the car you should definitely get. And for those of you that say the BRZ is a little bit too slow for you, this car has plenty of power. 265 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 5 seconds in this car. And I mean, with an ECU reflash, you can easily get this thing up over 300 horsepower, no problem. The aftermarket support is enormous for these cars. So I mean, there's just all kinds of good reasons to buy one of these. All right, so I'll leave you with a nice little acceleration here, like I always do. Yep, that's always fun. Auto Sales once again for hooking me up with this car to review for you guys today. This one is available through their dealership. It's basically brand new, almost 10,000 miles on it. Like I said, this is a 2013, and you know, you can give them a call. They can hook you up with it for a great price. And yeah, it's just a spectacular example, especially finished off in this blue. It already has the perfect modifications done. You got the sway bar and the exhaust. This car is good to go. Just buy it and enjoy it. So you can find the listing to this car on their website in the description below, and give them a call and they'd be glad to help you out. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Take care.